All right, Richard is in the house. We got a long-time relationship.
Yes, we do.
We finally start working on your stuff at this time of year, because I remember I talk about this hearse, and I don't usually show pictures very often on my phone. I'm not that kind of guy, except when I'm showing off your hearse, I go, this is the coolest thing ever. You got to see this. So what we did yesterday, before we get you totally introduced, why don't you show me some pictures on your phone? Did you make a little album?
Absolutely.
Okay, and tell me what we got going on here.
So what we do is we build custom hearses.
Wait, let's change it, because you okay, there we go.
There we go. Get the glare off of it.
I still got some.
Okay.
That's good enough. If you don't move, I won't move.
Yeah, we build custom hearses. This is our Grand Vista model, which has a big back glass, window back glass.
And you can kind of see the shape of the glass.
Yes, and of course the beauty of this is you can see the casket and all the flowers, everything's displayed and creates a lot of honor and prestige back in what we do. Here's some of our woodwork.
Sounds like you got salesman shoes on. But they are the coolest. They are the coolest things.
Something different, and it's about putting the honor back in what we do. I'm a fourth generation funeral director.
There you go.
Bomber.
Can you expand that? Oh yeah.
Yes, here's the trailer that BC's been building for us. Spirit's helped us out for years. Actually made the molds for us and been amazing.
I was a lot younger. Man, we stressed.
Whoa,
you come in and you were working on it, and then we hooked up, and it was just like that's how many years ago is that?
That's been, oh gosh,
10 years
14,
maybe? Is it that
12,
long?
14, yeah, it's been 12, 14 years.
So, I mean, it was over Christmas and New Year's. We finished the plug, you had started it.
Yeah, I remember it being cold.
And I mean, and Ed's bringing the car back today, the painter. He helped me do it, I remember that. And we worked Christmas Eve, I worked New Year's, and we had that sucker done. And look at that. Yeah. Is that beautiful?
I love that stately gray color, that two-tone gray and silver. But yeah, that's one of the many cars we.
And these are all fiberglass things.
They're fiberglass with a race car style cage inside of them. Again, we custom outfit them for each customer. That's all real hardwood and silver leaf work. We do silver leaf, gold leaf. That's really where we stand out, is when we incorporate logos and names. This was a limousine with a white interior.
You do your own upholstery?
Yes, in-house upholstery.
You do paint, a lot of, I would say you're more of the builder than you are the manufacturer.
Yes.
And we are definitely more the manufacturer than we are the builder.
Definitely. And my
look
guys
at that one.
My guys are specialists in
outfitting. Okay, so some of those, and I know in the beginning, we used to do them turnkey for you, and obviously we couldn't do that. So you do those all in-house.
Sure do.
You get matter of fact, you're picking the one up we can show here in a second. But that's not a TV, that's a picture.
No, that's a marquee glass, like a movie theater. You can open it up from inside. You can put in a poster. You can put in an advertisement. And even some of them we build, we put in vertical TV screens.
I remember we've put some vertical TV screens in both of them.
Sure do.
With sound systems.
This is my little factory there in Morrilton, Arkansas. And again, we started out as Rosewood Classic Coach. We are now New Classic Coach. And this is what we do. And we're looking to get into more of the mainstream hot rod market. And that
I wouldn't call hot rodders mainstream by any stretch. Well, you can talk about Trump all you want, and nobody wants to shut you off. They're like, yeah, go, all right. So here you're picking this one up. So that's how you get it. There it is, and your boys take it and turn it into something pretty cool, awesome.
Spirit gets it to this point for us, which is huge for us, because again, I've got finishers, I don't have manufacturers, so that's where our partnership and alliance has really paid dividends.
So we never really had the capacity to do all your fiberglass. I always wanted to from day one, but it's like, let's be realistic.
And I want to work to change that too.
And
your
exactly.
Fiberglass work is amazing.
So we're working on maybe going to clean up some of the molds, and remake the molds, and
get a better product where we're not spending as much time in as body work.
Exactly.
We're using some out-of-state contractors right now, and they don't hold a candle to what you're doing, what you're providing for.
So and this is so these are boat dock lockers. So we do a boat dock locker. Josh just told me we got to order for 60 of them.
Yeah, wow.
We're a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Although right now I've got all these turnkeys on the books that I've got to get through. I mean, we're focused on it. I had to come back out of retirement. I was actually retired for a little bit. And you were too, kind of.
I was.
You're in the funeral business.
That's right.
You've got
fourth generation. We run funeral homes, crematories. We combined my family. We have 6 of them, and then I have my car business.
And you've got a passion for cars.
Deep
That's what
passion.
got you sucked into this
Yeah.
limousine hearse thing.
And what's crazy is I started building the hearses as a hobby in my crematory at night, thinking I'd build 1 or 2 cool hearses, and it evolved into an entire business, and we built.
So then you brought other people in and it expanded, and then now you've really regrouped to and the what's it called now? What's the
new
focus?
Classic, NU Classic Coach.
NU Classic,
It's,
and it's bigger than just hearses.
yes, bigger than hearses, and all of my guys. Part of our interview process is show me pictures of your project, and find those guys that have that passion and that fire, and they're foaming at the mouth to get their hands on some hot rods and street rods.
And you're a rod shop. You've expanded into being a rod shop right now.
Yes, and we've been doing a lot of retrofit air conditioning, carburetor to fuel injection upgrades, the late model drive lines, pretty much anything. Bring it in. We've even banged on some old school grocery getters, and
There you go.
keep them going.
So we're not competition,
No.
and we're not partners, but we have a strategic alliance
Yes.
that I would like to expand. You would like to expand.
Absolutely.
And what that means is we can do turnkeys. It's not what we do. Always in the past, the reason for turnkeys for us was for engineering purposes.
Yeah.
This is for engineering purposes because when we sell a kit, I'd like to know that it actually goes together before it gets to the customer. And you don't know that. Just because I built a body and it looks like a 32, that's a far cry from
Yeah, and just
driving
because
it
it
down
looks
the
like
road.
it fits doesn't mean
Yeah,
it
it doesn't mean it fits.
It takes somebody to really massage that and make it all.
We used to joke about China if it's 2 pieces it didn't work, if it was 1 piece it didn't fit. Well, China is doing a pretty good job. We're doing a horrible job in this country, so we're working on fixing our supply chain. So we need to make some new strategic alliances and do what we're best at and move ahead. So all that being said, as we move to the future, both of us, I highly recommend Richard and his team for Turnkey Cars. So we're going to work together. It might be I might even go down there for a week and work with your team if we get one of the Spirit Cars
Absolutely.
getting done turnkey down there. Just here's how we do it.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean it's the only way. Doesn't mean it's the best way, but at least it's a starting point.
Well, and while we've designed and built our product from the ground up, from scratch, we basically started with a fiberglass eggshell in the shape of the car, and then we designed everything, the cages, the chassis, everything. And this is so unique to be able to come into the historic hot rods, and it is it's much more appealing to me. I'm really excited about it because.
Well, here's what I'm excited about it. Let's go show them what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the things I noticed right off about the quality of their product is when you open the doors, the fit, the finish, the way they close, the way they align. That's a huge deal. You can tell very quickly what kind of a builder they are by the way their doors fit.
That's critical. Yeah. And if I look at a car, and it's almost like no fun going to a car show, because I don't appreciate the cars. Yeah. First thing I look at is, okay, how's the doors fit? What's the gaps look like? What about the window areas? I look down the side. What's the reflection look like? So I'm critiquing it, and then if it's a great car, I'm like, holy cow, that was a lot of work.
And I tell my people and everybody I talk to, aside from the engine and transmission, one of the most complicated parts in your car is your door, because it has to open, it has to close, it has windows that go up and down.
And we put, I don't know, we put a channel. This is aluminum channel all the way around. And then it gets the felt in there, and then the window travels in that. So when it's in there, it's clean looking.
Yes.
Very clean.
This is very good.
The way we've got the back glass.
Nice, straight, flat, plain edges.
Flat glass. You can put a window fuzzy along that edge.
A lot of times.
And you can see it's offset a little bit, so you got room for a window fuzzy there. In the back here, we put a flat panel. And what I like to do, I don't know, we flush mount it. I don't know how you do yours.
Our back glasses, when we do, like our back doors and in our limousines, they're bonded in, urethaned in.
From the inside, like same style.
And you have a nice, clean, slick edge. We'll even go in and carefully tape and silicone to get that just perfect finished look to it.
Well, what I've found, talking about techniques, I used to mask both sides and then swipe it with my finger to put the urethane.
Mm-hmm.
Now I only mask the body side after it's painted.
Keep it off the paint.
Keep it off the paint. I wipe it with my finger, and I can make a really clean line with a razor blade.
Razor blade.
And then just scrape it off with a razor blade. It's just a lot less
all it
mess,
takes.
cleaner, nice.
Yeah. It
And
gives it a
then
good clean look.
our windshields are flush mounted.
In our defense, our windows in our cars are 7.5 feet long. So so we do a lot of taping. Just
I know.
yeah.
Well, I think one of the original when we were doing in the very beginning, on the trailer, we didn't leave a big enough gap on the bottom for the flex
Yep.
in the length of that.
Yeah.
So I think
you
it
learn.
bound and cracked one of the windows.
Yeah. Yeah. It
So it's,
tricks to everything. So
but on the other side too, that glass is structure.
it is.
It's real structure.
Tell the difference when you get it bonded in there. That gets very rigid. Very rigid.
So you're super happy with your doors, or can they be better?
Oh, there's always room for improvement, but I am pleased with my doors and the way they close and fit. I'm proud of them. I'm not just pleased, I'm proud of them. But there's always room for
But
improvement.
I'm not. I asked the question wrong.
Okay.
I've seen your cars. They fit great and they look great. So that's not the issue. How long does it take you to make them look like that?
Well, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into our doors and the hand fitting of them. I'm going to say, well, I don't have to say, I know that the greatest part of our time is spent in the doors per square inch of car, without a doubt. It's doors.
Well, the way I look at it and what I enjoy doing is design engineering. I somehow I got it. I can do one of those and I can feel
Yeah,
I'm pretty, and I can see a shape,
that's right. And
and
well,
I enjoy that. But I love the engineering of how do we make it better.
exactly.
The production engineering.
How can we make it better, faster, more durable?
If I spend an afternoon 4 or 5 hours doing something to save 2 or 3 hours every time we do it from now on,
Well,
I'll be long gone and dead, and we'll still be reaping a reward
Yeah,
off
well,
of,
exactly.
of my time spent.
It's kind of like in your mold making process. For every hour you spend on the plug to make the mold off of is an hour saved on every car. So you take that time and you put that time and that quality into your fit and your finish, particularly your gel coat finish surfaces. That makes a huge difference in the quality of your product that comes out. One of the things we're battling with our other supplier, not with Spirit, is pinholes, because they're not as thorough with
Yep.
with the way they bond
Yep.
their fiberglass to their gel coat, and we wind up, you start sanding, you get a lot of little pinholes, and
Yep.
that'll drive you mad.
Oh, and you can't, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's talk about this with another picture behind it.
All right.
So that's our 34 mold. What's the first thing you said when you walked up to it?
That thing is slick, and it's got one repair in it, but it looks like you're about to finish that out.
No, this was a great mold. And if you go up to our glass shop, there's parts in all of the molds. When I came back, the molds were all open, full of overspray, just treated like horribly.
Yeah.
A couple of them, it's like triage this puppy. Why are you even building one?
Well, if you look at that, I don't know if you can capture it. If you can see that reflection in there, that is where you're
Okay,
finished.
we're
Yeah,
here.
and that's got a little dust on it. But when you
But
can,
see that chip out of there, see that, this, you can't tell, I've been repairing it.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened, we sold a DIY 34.
yeah,
Awesome. It's like Josh tells me we sell a DIY 34. He tells me on Wednesday, perfect. We pull it out of the mold on Thursday. We'll ship it on Friday. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's a whole car, 2 days, shipped, gone. I pull that son of a gun. I couldn't pull it. It was stuck. Because I had a guy up there that didn't prep the mold. It ripped my mold apart here. It left mold on the part and part on the mold. You can still see back here, I haven't taken all of the mold or the parts. This is the part stuck on the mold. This entire thing was gone. So I'm spending,
that's the play.
Gibby stayed with me, and anybody that watches our videos knows who Gibby, he was gonna work on Phantom Pete. He's a good fabricator. I'm like, man, this thing gotta go. I expected we pull it out, I trim it out. It's shipping today. So we worked on the weekend. Between the two of us, I had probably 20 hours just fixing things like you talked about. Pinholes, air in the corners, and
Stuff that a little bit of goes a long way right here.
Well, and then not talking about my time fixing this mold. So, and this is just, you know, the recessed valley around the trunk and then the part that goes below that. Luckily that was the worst.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go over the entire mold, which means I gotta wet sand it, then I gotta wet sand it more and wet sand it all the way to 2000, then I gotta buff it so it looks like glass
Yeah, this is
and put it into a whole new system.
Yeah, and that's where we're suffering with our other supplier is that finish. They're not putting the time into prepping the molds, and we're having that problem. We're getting pieces with chunks of the mold and the mold gel coat, the orange.
And you're
stuck to
past
the
the
body.
you're past the point of no return.
Yeah, and I'm afraid to see what they look like when I go there to recover our molds soon.
But you're getting a part. Hopefully you're getting a
You can
part.
call it apart.
But okay, so we're gonna have to
Work
spend a
with
lot
them,
of
but
time slicking
yeah,
it.
We're putting twice the time into it that we should be, just simply because it's not being done to this level.
And then there's a good probability that we'll be building a new mold for it. We'll see what the
Can't
future
wait.
holds.
Yeah,
But
I can't wait. Yeah.
yeah, and as we do that, then we'll look at production engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, maybe we can change this a little bit. Let's move our flange over to here instead of here. Let's change up the draft on this
Seam lines and.
yeah,
all
so-
that. And the exciting thing to me too is while we're doing the same thing with different cars, there's so many different techniques and skill sets that can be transferred
right.
from side to side, and things and ways you've been doing things. I'll be like, we should have been doing it that way all along.
And looking at
vice
what
versa.
you had, I've looked at it. I've been down by you a couple times, and well, your mold. I mean, yours is the only mold we don't own in the shop, and we've had it for what 14 years
Yeah,
now,
12, 14 years.
and it's actually in about as good a shape now as it was 14 years
Well,
ago
and
because we've kind of made some improvements along the way even.
And also too, you protect the molds. You don't throw them outside and leave them out in the
Well, okay.
You keep parts in them.
Tell me about how we
Well,
protect our molds.
Using it and protect it and neglecting it, I should say.
So-
Using it and neglecting it. But it's one thing to have issues from use, and you expect that anytime you use something, but when it's being neglected and pushed out, or it's allowed to sit outside and fill up with swamp water.
Yeah, that's different.
a bad thing, and that is a problem that we've had in the past, and that's why we need to look at getting a new mold made.
Well, the hardest part to get to and wax and deal with is the most critical part. That's what I tell the guys all the time.
Yeah.
And if I've got somebody who is half-assed, lackadaisical, don't give a hoot about what they're doing,
Can't have that.
our work culture right now, and I've got one guy that's on the bubble,
Yeah.
that's more concerned about that he gets paid for every minute that he shows up. And I can point out how many minutes of my time that you're cheating me out of.
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about giving me billable
Playing
hours.
on the phone.
Give me some billable hours and you will make a whole lot more money than you ever expected. But if you want to worry about me cheating you out of a minute that you show up when you're not,
Yeah, those are everywhere. I battle that, and I chuckle about how I pay for a lot of poop. It seems like they want to come in, get on the clock, and go straight in the bathroom for 30 minutes.
well, I'm gonna go show some poop. Let's go show some
Let's
poop,
go
all
see
right?
some
We're
poop.
looking at poop. You want to point out some poop? You can probably do that pretty darn quick.
Yeah, we've got some little issues there.
Little issues.
Got some. Well, I'm being.
So what you do, I don't care who did it, but let me grab this. Okay, so if I had a screwdriver here or something, what do you guys do? How would you check your corners?
Oh well, we've got like a
Okay, show me.
well, you talking about our gap fit? Or, I don't know what your tool is applied for.
If I'm doing that
yeah,
and putting some weight on there,
yeah.
okay.
It's
But when I did
chipped
this
out,
and put some weight on there,
it popped out.
it was a big air gap in it. So it was
Well-
not rolled properly. There was no putty in there.
And-
You can see it coming across here.
And we suffer with a lot of what you're talking about right here on our cars because the guy doesn't take the time. The fiberglass naturally only wants to bend so much, particularly after
Yeah, you
it's
can.
resined up.
We make a putty that you can put in there.
And yes, you have to putty that first. And
But then
get
you
that-
can be lazy. Oh, let's just putty the crap out of everything.
Yeah. And
No,
that's-
I only
that's-
need enough putty to cover this air gap that my glass
so
isn't
that
going to bend around.
fiberglass will naturally bow to it. But-
So you can get lazy.
can.
Like here, look at this. How the heck
we battle that a lot.
So this is not our current people here.
No.
I come back and this was going to be, you know,
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you,
I threw it in the back and like, this is garbage.
This is what I battle almost daily with my current vendor, and that's what we're trying to get away from. And they want to complain about the mold this, the mold that, but of course they're sending me body parts like this and with chunks of mold still stuck to it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't prep it right.
Yeah.
And they haven't been taking care of it. So yes.
So this is left over, and I'm doing all the repairs. We'll do it nice and right. And
It's just a lot of labor.
It's a lot of labor, huge amounts of labor. So anyway, this is what I like. You can see there's a little bit of primer on the edges where we put the doors together, you know, and it's got a seam, so we clean up the seam a bit. But
Yeah.
that's what it's supposed to be.
You're going to have some of this just so that you get your gaps right.
Yeah.
And the way the doors go together, sometimes you have to add a little or take a little bit away to get that gap perfect.
Yep.
And that is one of the things I do like about fiberglass is the ability to do that without having to drag out welders and all kinds of metal fabbing and chopping and cutting and that kind of stuff. So, yes.
So I'm actually pretty excited not to be in the fiberglass shop again. No, and we got some really cool cars. Let's go stand in front of some cool cars.
Let's go check them out.
All right. Well, I showed you the car before I turned the camera on, and what was your first comment?
I was amazed. Hey, you've got metal on the car.
In shock.
Yeah,
This is metal.
That speaks volumes about your composite and your originality fit
Well, no, this is a metal car.
all metal car.
All metal car.
All
So
metal
the
car.
customer, except for the running boards. Running boards were so jacked, I said, no, let's just do some fiberglass running boards. I'll make them, it'll be better.
I'd be fooled on that because looking at that at first, I thought that was metal car.
Well, the customer this is Mike, Phantom Pete is the name of the car.
Pretty slick.
And he wanted a chassis and he had a barn find. I said, well, I'll bring the car, let's make sure it fits. Because it's nice to know.
Yeah.
Am I building a 34 chassis that you can actually build and put a 34 on? Or am I building a 34 chassis to fit what I'm calling a 34 body? That's two different things. Because what I call a 34 body is my version of what a 34 body is.
Your version.
Well, I mean, we've chopped it on a Model A's, we flush mounted doors, we recessed firewalls. This one doesn't have an original firewall. I mean, the original firewall wouldn't work.
No, it would never work.
You know,
LS,
we
this
jam
thing's
an
gonna be
LS
wicked.
into it. We had to do things. And then he wanted a one-piece hood that hinges on both sides, but he wanted it with this. So we built these hood sides that now they kind of go in the same in here, and it's got a little flange or lip here that you can lift it off. And so anyway, this is part of what we do.
Awesome car. This is going to be amazing.
But this is what you do too, right?
Yes, yes.
This is what you're going to specialize in.
Exactly, and that's all of our cars go out with late model LS3s and LT1s and fuel injection and wiring and all that fun stuff. That's what we do a lot of, and again, a lot of retrofit. But
This is not what we want to do anymore, but we want to have a close association with someone that we can do that.
and this is what we want to do.
Exactly. This is a
I
relationship.
don't want to mess with fiberglass and have to deal with all the pinholes and molds, and I want to make it pretty.
And Morrilton's a couple hours away.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Yeah. So we're in the same state.
Yeah.
It used to be the land of opportunity years ago. Now we're the natural state. When Clinton was here, it was a land of opportunity for anybody that took advantage of anybody else.
Naturally. So
Well, let's look at some fiberglass here.
you bet. That's a lot of good stuff going on.
So this is Joe's car. He's an old drag racer, and
I can tell, big block.
it's a good one. And people tell you, oh, it's a 1,000 horsepower motor. Yeah, right. You even know what 1,000 horsepower is, but no. When he says that, it's legit. Look at the size of this sniper here.
Dominator sniper.
Yeah, it's like massive,
Yes.
and it's a Pro Street car.
Got the TCI shifter in it.
Yep.
Overhead console.
Daryl's been building the gas tank, custom gas tank for it.
Yep.
So this is all fiberglass.
Definitely.
So it's painted. We got the interior done. I've been waiting for months, literally months and months. We use Southern Air for our air conditioning. Finally, they're somewhere between here and North Carolina, I think.
Tracking numbers.
So-
And that is something that a lot of people, I think one of the biggest misconceptions about what we do when we're building cars is people watch TV and they see a car built in 45 minutes, or they see a total restoration and modification in 7 days with unlimited resources and people, and then they get upset with us because it takes, months, many months to do these things once you get started on them, and then you're at the mercy of your supply chain. I'm battling that right now.
You cannot make money building cars if the parts aren't here.
No.
And the parts can't be here if the parts aren't available.
And like what you have here, you've got multiple cars in stage. You're waiting for this, waiting for that. Got to have that. And so, like a mechanic in any mechanic shop, he may have 2 or 3 cars tore down and sitting there waiting on parts.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of work.
No, if you're a mechanic on a line and you got 2 stalls,
yeah,
you don't want a car tore down in your stall.
No.
You want it in and out.
You're not
in
making
and out.
money.
You ain't making money. So the same here, and you got to be careful on your scheduling, because I can't put Eddie on here to dink around for a day when he's got 3 hours worth of work and he runs out of parts.
Yeah, you can't put him on that for an hour.
No.
It gets started, and then he has to come back and refigure out where he was at.
Especially on wiring and things like that. So that doesn't work. So this one here, we sent out Ed, my painter, body man also, has got a shop at his house. So he does work at home. He's just commissioned work at home. This is a 32. This is that big block that you were all drooling over back in the back there.
Big block Ford.
This is called Insanity. So this is pure insanity, actually.
It'll be wicked.
So the body is going to be back today painted. So Tim will be all excited. Tim, I'm sure he watches this video. Your body will be back. I'll do a thing with Ed when it gets here.
Yep.
So this will be coming together here pretty quickly.
And to the owner, I'm a big block Ford guy, and I just want to load that up and take it over.
Oh yeah, I had to watch him. He was
You'll have to watch me.
wheeling over the.
I'll just
Yeah, the
pallet.
I was wondering why you were pushing that pallet jack towards the back. I was like, wait a minute here.
Yeah, that's going to have to cause a distraction.
This one's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I like that color too.
So the wheels and tires just got here for that. So I got to paint them red, and it's got trim wings and moons go on it, and gonna have some red trim. We're calling this one the Colonel.
4-link, 9-inch coilovers.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
That's the way to fly. Was that that's not a tune port. Yeah. Ramjet. EF5. Very similar to the tune port.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're pretty excited when the air conditioning units get here. This one gets one first, and then we're gonna.
Got it lined up waiting on air conditioning.
So this one is close to just assembling. I've got this will be a Milner clone.
Yeah.
Like all Milner clones, it'll look way better than the original Milner clone, but we built a bunch of them. And then this one is going to be so cool. I haven't even shown it for a
I
while.
spotted that when I walked in the shop, and of course I'm kind of a Ford blue guy, and the
Oh.
blue metallic just sucked me in.
So we call this the Midas Touch. It's got the brass radiator.
Oh.
It's got brass
Brass.
headlights. This is today when Ed gets here. Yeah, that's on.
Firewall slick.
When Ed gets here and drops off the 32, he's going to pick up the fenders and all the miscellaneous parts for this to paint them. And here, check this stuff out.
Oh boy, they did have all brass for that.
Got the radiator, got the headlights. So we had to made special steps for those plate and here. So we got.
Got all the goodies.
So take these out. Ed's going to take these, paint them blue
I was gonna say
this week. And then we had to make special headlight stanchions for the headlights.
Yeah, being those large bucket, old school.
Yeah, they are.
Those are beautiful. Those are beautiful.
So we're gonna have to do some polishing, but
I was
those
gonna
are
say
cool.
I love the look, but I would get tired of polishing pretty quick.
Yeah.
I had a 13 brass T hearse.
Oh, did you? That would be.
And I sold it, but I don't miss the polishing. I miss the car, but I don't miss the polishing.
Well, they're gonna make this a show car, so that's part of that world. And you missed that one. Richard just told Told Eddie, and you probably get fed up with all the videos. Don't even say that. It's like I got a bear that growls at me every morning when I walk in and go, "Hey, let's do a video."
For the video
I'm trying to work here.
Hey, but he's got the Napa hat on.
Hey,
There we go.
some sponsorship.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we had one of the corporate guys for the independent side of the Napa stores send me a bunch of hats. I didn't even open the box for a while.
Pretty cool.
There's a bunch of hats with a note going, "Hey, I've seen somebody wearing a Napa hat. All your guys should be wearing a Napa
I
hat."
had to,
So I called him up. I said, I'm a Napa fan because you go to a parts store, most parts store guys have no clue. You know, what's the color of the interior trim or something like that before they can give you a starter.
had the Chase Elliott Napa hat on.
But Napa, they're a lot of them are independent owned, and it's a great store.
And you usually have actual parts guys that are there.
Yeah,
That you can say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. There's not an application in the computer. And then they can go pull a couple of boxes and say, yeah, do this or drill a hole here and it'll work. I missed that.
Well, so I told him, I said, well, no, I need to have a little incentive to be wearing the Napa hats. So as I was passing them out the other day, before that, I asked him, well, what kind of paint you guys use? So I told you my loyalty to my old paint company. And, well, we do Sherwin-Williams.
Sherwin-Williams, yeah.
I said, I tell you what, we got this thing coming up. We're going to build a car at a show, the Frog Follies, the 50th anniversary Frog Follies, Evansville, Indiana. And they asked us to be part of the show. I was going to not just call them and say, I'm honored, but no thanks. Well, they talked me into going. So we're going to build a car at the show in 2.5 days, a T-bucket. They're buying it. It's going to be given away to one of the participants. It's their 50th anniversary. It's our 30th anniversary. That's in August of 2025, Evansville, Indiana. And Napa is going to supply the paint for the car.
Oh, wow.
So there we go.
Yeah. Are you going to paint it there too? Or are you going to try and have it pre-painted?
No, I'm going to paint the chassis. I'm going to paint the floor, but I'm going to have the body, the T-bucket. Last coat of primer. So I think we're going to, I went to a bunch of tech schools there. So the instructors are going to bring their top 2 students. I've got one school bringing students for the plumbing of the brakes. I've got one going to do the motor and all the suspension. I've got a body shop. We're going to, 3 miles away is their facility, and it's an awesome facility with booths. So we're going to try to paint it Friday night, sand it at the show, paint it Friday night, and assemble it Saturday morning.
Are they going to give it away after you build it or before so they can pick the color?
No, it's the Frog Follies. It's green. The car's green. The color's picked. It's a done deal. And it's supposed to be done by Saturday. So the biggest problem I got right now, so I'm bringing the A-team. But you remember Mr. T? Mm-hmm. You couldn't get him on a plane. You couldn't get him to go nowhere. So we're going to have to figure out how to drug. Yeah, exactly. You know, we're going to, exactly. He's pointing at you already. So we haven't decided if we're going to drug him or we're going to put him in a utility box and just throw him in the back of a truck in the dark. And so here we go. This is Reg's car. Super stopper brakes.
Yep.
Looking good. Coming together.
Yeah, that's slick.
Yeah,
real
pretty slick.
I like that chrome.
So pretty much.
Chrome won't get you home, but it sure is pretty.
It looks good sitting on the side of the road.
No, we're functional.
Hey, boy, that's a nice car. It really don't
Look
run.
how good that thing looks sitting on the side of the road.
It's a Ford or Chevy. Let's have the Ford Chevy argument.
No.
I can't argue one or the other because I got
Good
I
and
got
bad
all-
ones, me too, and all of them.
All right, so we got our video for today. I hadn't been doing content. If I don't do content for a while,
Yeah.
not one or two, but multiple people would generally call the shop,
Awesome.
want to know if I'm still alive. That's what happens when you get old.
You get a little too gray, aren't you?
I know. It's like, what's wrong? Everybody okay over there? Ain't seen a video for a week or two.
Don't see a video, they got to check your pulse.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was funny at first, but then now I check my pulse every morning when I get up, see how it's going.
Well, I own funeral homes, and I chuckle to everybody. I tell them, I said, I got great burial benefits where I work. So
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in cashing in on them.
Well, I use the line a lot because we do quite a few of those trailers. I'm building my ride out of here.
Yeah, that's true. That's
It is true.
We just need to hook it on one of these.
Well, are you gonna come up and haul me around?
You bet. Yeah. Have hearse will travel. That's
Yeah,
what I'm on.
we'll just put my boots in the back of it to go around some of my old stomping grounds and it,
Yeah, we'll put them in the back because we probably don't want them up front.
yeah. Yeah, put them in the back with a spotlight, drive me around for a little bit, drive my boots around.
I saw a quote the other day. It said, when you're dead, you don't know it. It's everybody else that feels the pain, and stupid works the exact same way.
All right, so we got our words of wisdom.
That's it. It
There we
works the
go.
same way.
There we go.
And there's my sign right over
I
there.
can't fix
I
stupid.
can't fix stupid. So here, we're gonna end it on this. And this must be one of your dream cars, the old ZZ Top 34.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's an old poster right there.
that is an old poster. So that is it for today. Richard is in the house and fixing to go back. We're gonna load you up and on the turnkey side of things, don't be surprised if we say we're pretty busy right now, but we'll hook you up.
Bring them to me, man. We would love to build your car. We're really excited at the opportunity and get hands on and make your dream come true.
That's we build dreams.
That's it.
Make your dreams come true. All right, there it is.